together on the data that's just gone.
They used to do that close down on TV back in the day, whereby it's a moment of reflection.
Oh, yeah. I think they might still do that. Is that not like a prayer at bedtime or something?
I don't think they're allowed to call it that anymore.
Are they not?
Secular society, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Did they ever get celebrities to do that? Oh no, that's on CBeebies, isn't it?
You're thinking of a scare at bedtime with Podge and Rog.
No,
but
no.
CBeebies story time.
Gets celebs into
Daniel Craig.
Exactly.
Has been in to do it.
Tom Hardy.
Guy Garvey's done one from Elbow. He's a lovely man.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Wasn't it all scary? Loves dogs.
Stewie's here. Stewie Byrne. Thanks for coming in. Richie's here as well. We're a good minute earlier than expected. I don't think there was any great breaking news going on in the world, but if there was, we will bring you it between now
Brexit,
and
Children's
7:30.
Hospital, some grim
Trump.
stuff. There we go. We feel
done. Done. So coming up, as I said, John Giles with us as always at 7:30. There's a whole lot going on in the world of football, from Claudio Ranieri sacking, Brendan Rodgers leaving Celtic, Kepa refusing to come off the pitch. We'll talk about Liverpool, Manchester United as well. Mayo taking on Galway in the Allianz League at the weekend. We'll chat to Michael Meehan and Mick Quirk about all those games. Potential for a World Rugby League. A lot of talk about this today because the World Rugby Players Association have come out against this. The International Rugby Players Group, led by Johnny Sexton, not happy at all with these proposals. We'll chat about them and the football show as well, which Stewie will be hanging around for. How are you keeping?
I'm good, yeah. I'm good, Nate.
I've had a busy 24 hours.
Yeah?
I was doing a lot of journalism over the last 24 hours.
Okay, you've reeled me in.
I was in Manchester yesterday on a journalism expedition. Richie?
Junket?
You were over there having a handy night's work watching Man City and West Ham.
Some people, Richie, are happy to sit in their asses, sit at home, sit at their offices, you know, doing well-researched, well-thought-out pieces of actual journalism. It's not for me. You know, I like to get off my ass and get out and meet the people. You might have heard of Declan Rice, Stewie.
I have heard Declan.
Been a bit of controversy about him. I've done my research. I stalked his Instagram page when the FAI wished him a happy birthday. He never liked it in the end. Spent an unhealthy period of time covering that. So I thought Declan Rice released this statement. You may have heard he's also said, screw you guys, I'm going with those English.
Yeah.
Nobody's spoken to him since. Like, were those his words in the statement? I want to hear it from his voice. So I thought to myself, West Ham are playing at Manchester City. I know the setup of the Etihad Stadium. He's going to have to walk past me coming out of that match.
Right.
He's in the mix zone. All the players have to walk past. There's no choice. So there's like a little 4-foot gap he has to go through, and I'm going to be standing there with my microphone ready on behalf of the people of Ireland, doing proper journalism. And that, my friend, is exactly what I did last night. The TV isn't even on in here, so unfortunately he's not going to see it.
That was it?
That was it. We can't even see it here. We don't have a TV or anything, JP. It's
4 minutes past and your earpiece has fallen out. Well done.
Yeah.
It's a new record.
I know, yeah. You wouldn't stick on the TV in here, JP? No, it's fine. That was it. Play it again. It was brilliant. Should we grab a quick word, Declan? That was it.
At least you tried.
Can I have a quick word, Declan? Looked straight through me.
He didn't even give you a verbal response.
He said no. He said no, but inside he was thinking, are you kidding me?
Did you ask him why he didn't like your Instagram post?
It wasn't mine, it was the FAI's.
Okay.
It was the FAI's.
Okay.
I did suggest that maybe I'd shout after him, why would you turn your back on me like you turned your back on the people of Ireland?
You should have gone full. I don't know if you saw the new Alan Partridge show the other night, this time.
I did.
Where he decided to chase the hacker down into the lift in the BBC. That should have been you. You should have been on the team bus.
Talk to me.
I think it's in Paddy Agnew's book, Forza Italia, where he's talking about trying to get an interview with Liam Brady after a game. Well, I think he's playing for Inter Milan at the time. And Agnew ends up on the bus. And people are kind of looking at him going, who's this guy? But Brady's invited him on because he's the Paddy in residence over there.
Maybe I could have tried that. What's the worst case scenario in this current environment that could happen?
Up the Irish.
Realise he's literally said nothing to anyone about it since. How long has it been
he's
now?
released a statement, but aside from that, it's only a couple of weeks. But I'd imagine he's not going to until he does a big sit down with one of the English media.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not as big a story over there, funnily enough, as it is here.
It got there was one of the Evening Standard reporters earlier on today posted something about how Rice has set the wheels in motion finally to have his international allegiance switched by FIFA, and I can't say it's done any great traction from English supporters who are delighted to have young Decky on board.
Anyways, I'm done with him now. I'm no longer going to Manchester, spending 24 hours of my life just to be told.
You're off to St Mary's at the weekend to stalk Nathan Redmond, I'm sure, are you?
Well, Dan McDonald, funnily enough, I think, was at St Mary's last night for that exact reason. He too is that sad.
Oh, God.
I've yet to hear whether he got a word with either Nathan Redmond. Well, listen, there's always the bonus. Shane Long is a good guy. He'll generally stop. He'll understand you've made the trip.
Well, he's giving him something to do, especially after last night.
Well, after Mick McCarthy's comments yesterday of he'd spoken to the agent but hadn't spoken to Nathan Redmond, I would fear that if you spoke to Nathan Redmond, he'd go, "What are you talking about?
Who?
Why
Who's
would
the
I be
other
playing
manager
for
again?
Ireland?"
I'm going to
The
start
first
your
I've
ego
heard
now.
of it.
Would Shane, if Shane saw you, would he come over and say hello, or would you have to call him over?
Oh, I'd say I'd have to call him over.
Shane.
Premier League footballers never just approach journalists
See, do you go
for
with
a random chat.
Do you rely on the accent, or do you have to go, Shane, few words for Irish radio?
I don't know.
And then see the eyes
We'll have to
light
see.
up and them come over to you and say,
The
sure thing.
the Irish lads are nice lads. They'll always stop and
I'm
talk to
I'm
you.
slightly worried that you and Dan and maybe a couple others are starting to become like, John Cusack in that movie Isn't Anything, where you end up underneath somebody's window holding up a boombox, possibly playing Aaron on the V and seeing if they'll recognise the anthem and come and play for Ireland just because you've done that on our behalf. It's a bit sad.
Bad
Nathan.
idea. Part of it was bloody great, wasn't it?
It was really good. Really liked
Oh,
it.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It was right on cue. It
It's
was.
all gone over my head. I haven't seen
Have
it.
you not
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, it was Eamon Holmes though, right? He's basically modelled the character in Eamon Holmes,
A little bit. I think it's an amalgam of people
right?
at this stage. Even the lad who does the one show, who used to present Blue Peter, Matt Baker. He also presents Country File.
Yeah.
Bit of that in there too.
Five
watch Country File,
is the
Stewie?
text number.
Remember the Blue Peter badge? That's something that's come
Did you
back
ever
to
get
my
a Blue
head.
Peter badge?
No, remember that? That used to be a bit of a thing, didn't
Well,
it?
Stewie could get a Blue Peter badge. Going off on a little tangent here.
Seamless segue to Tango.
Because he's a man of many talents. He came storming into the office earlier. Not quite as angry as we've seen him at other stages once again this week, but we'll chat about that a little bit later. Give us your best. I'm angry. I'm angry, Tony.
I'm angry, Nathan.
We'll see if he's angry. So Stewie goes, I have a revelation that I'm going to...
I didn't say it like that, Nathan.
No, you did.
I didn't.
Have you found God?
I most certainly haven't found God. I would be the opposite of someone who would have found God. I would have.
You've lost them.
I would have lost God a long time ago.
You're going up to the
I
information
would have
desk.
lost God a long time ago. Yeah.
What
Last
is it,
scene in a
Stewie?
white
What
room.
is it you want to let the people of Ireland know about?
So, I've written an album.
What?
I've written an album, a music album.
A music album?
Music
An
album.
album
yeah.
of music, of
Yeah.
songs.
So I've written an album, 10 songs. So something I've always done. Played the guitar, would have always written songs. Was never one for sort of, playing other people's music or, one of these guys at the party that might play Bon Jovi, even though I have played that the odd time. But I always like to write my own stuff. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 2 years, focus on that.
So what is
It's not
it?
my day job, by the way. I do have a day job.
Is it singer-songwriter?
No, it wouldn't be. No, it would be more be sort of upbeat stuff, sort of 80s synth, slightly inspired with maybe some guitar stuff.
Stick your headphones in there.
JP's
Works
come
better.
out with a slight approximation of what your sound might be like.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah,
Nice little bit of jazz.
Welcome
That
to
does suit
Jazz
me.
Club with Stewie Byrne.
that suit me. Yeah,
So is
you've actually given me an idea for a
so
song,
if it's not
JP. Thanks.
if it's not sort of slow singer-songwriter stuff, is it?
No.
Like, are you Bruno Mars?
It would be a mix between slow
Damien
stuff.
Rice and Bruno Mars.
No. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna say what I think it is. I mean, I might
Well,
leave it up to you guys.
Did you bring in a sample track?
I might have something. Yeah, I might have something for you to listen to.
Oh, Stewie!
Exclusive first play.
All right, this is coming up in the football show.
This is taking me back to my
Wow.
days.
Have you? Do you just go by Stewie Byrne, or have you a?
There you go. I've got a name
Like
actually. And
Simple Kid or something like-
I don't say angry. I'm waiting for that to come at me. Yeah. Why don't you call yourself angry?
Be a sort of cool name now.
You
Wow.
could call the just
No,
call,
it's-
seriously, call the album Angry Tony.
And are you looking to release it to a mass market? Are you looking to get signed up?
So genuinely, this is something I've always done as a way of venting or expressing myself, right? So I don't know where this will go. It mightn't go anywhere, but I know from going through the process, it's helped me hugely. Sort of just, I don't know, just sort of speak. Some people might go to see a shrink. Some people might hit the bottle. Some people used to play football. I don't play football anymore, so this is my way of expressing, and it's
You've
been
hit the
brilliant.
since.
It's been brilliant. So I don't know where it's going to go, Nathan. It might go nowhere, and it doesn't matter because all that's important is that I'm proud of it, and it's kind of helped me an awful lot. Like I mentioned to you on the way in, I was actually stopped at the traffic lights across the Liffey there, and this stuff is I'm quite sort of introverted part, very quiet. I wouldn't be much of a social media person, so I keep myself to myself. So even saying this is kind of, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, but you know, whatever. But stop the delights. And who walks across me? Paul Galvin. So he's become a fashion designer. So if he can completely change and do something. I said, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be so quiet about it. So
fair play. So we're going to get a first playing on the football show this evening after 9 o'clock.
I'll let you listen to one or two tracks. Yeah, you might want to play. You might think it's rubbish.
Well, there is that point. It could get awkward, is the problem. Especially since everything's on
Put
camera
a Bon Jovi number on.
We'll all be going, oh, this is great, Stewie. Yeah, really enjoying this. Yeah, very heartfelt, emotional stuff. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, we've all had to do that, haven't we?
Are there any previous examples of footballers turned musicians?
Andy Cole did it. Andy Cole released a single. Ian Wright has definitely released a couple of singles.
This is an album. This is not a single. This is something.
Wow. And are you some sort of Radiohead type that we need to listen to the full 10 tracks to get the full appreciation of it?
I would be a big Radiohead fan, yeah. Would be certainly a big Radiohead fan. No, hopefully not. Hopefully it's.
Is there a single? Like, is there a standout single you can bring the people?
Maybe.
Catchy chorus.
Maybe, yeah.
All right,
we'll see.
I'm excited about this now.
I need a manager, Nathan. I don't know how you fixed.
Richie's your man there.
Richie, is it?
Mr. 10%.
The voice.
Well, he'll do your voiceover for free.
I won't do it for free. And it will be 12%.
Are there any anti-Bowles songs in it?
No, there's not.
I bet you there bloody well is as well.
Any football chanting? No?
No, there is one inspired by a certain football. Well,
early shout for Stewie's album title: Shells Bells, Road to Shell, Shells Like Teen Spirit. All from Gaz. There's a definite pattern to all that.
There's a pattern, yeah.
Well, this was a shocking development, but well done.
Right.
Looking forward to listening to this now.
Okay, yeah.
Perfecting my happy smile of really good. Yeah, we'll play more songs. Tom Dunn's on after us.
Way to shatter the man's faith, Nathan.
I don't know. I feel it's going to be good. How long have you spent writing it?
Oh,
my entire life.
Probably 2 years. Yeah, well, probably your entire life, but probably the last 2 years, 18 months.
Of course, your sister's a shit hot DJ, so she could do a remix.
I have an angle there, all right, yeah.
Exactly. Add a few more beats to it.
You have an in.
I've an in. I've got an in, yeah.
Getting all the cool stations. They'll be playing you on Spin.
Yeah. Well, I'm not leaving this building until I get onto the FM.
They're not going to make you or break you. Tom Dunn will make you or break you.
Yeah.
Tom, he'll be outside in a while. He might give you an spin. Get you in for a session.
I knew it was worth coming in. Thanks for inviting me in again.
Using us yet again. All right, Richie.
Just paying you back, Nathan, for all the years you've used me.
Never.
That's harsh.
What do we got, Richie?
Claudio Ranieri, he's gone. Premier League strugglers Fulham sacking their manager after just 3 months in charge with Scott Parker installed as caretaker. Last night's 2-0 defeat away to Southampton leaves the London club 10 points from safety in the Premier League with 10 games to play. Ranieri's record at Craven Cottage was a poor one, with the Italian losing 11 of his 17 games. He won just 3. Parker's first game in charge is at home to West London neighbours Chelsea on Sunday, and is live on Off the Ball. Kenny Cunningham joining Stephen Doyle for commentary from the Cottage for that one.
No surprise?
No. I mean, look, the Premier League it's gone crazy now, isn't it? I mean, you know,
it was the wrong appointment, really, though, because
a dreadful appointment.
Fulham's problem was that they were the most naive team that has ever come into the Premier League. That they basically seemed to think they were wolves and that they could play football and forget about defending. And spent 100 million quid, didn't improve the side at all. And like some of the tactics that Jukanovic put in, they just needed someone to come in and make them solid. Old school.
I wouldn't underestimate the power of a chairman in this scenario. I mean, something I'm seeing an awful lot more of coming into the game now, and it's even in a little bit here in League of Ireland, believe it or not. But chairmans, you know, the brief they give to a manager is they want the team to play a certain way. If the team plays that certain way, they'll give them the money, and it's just you know, you've got these people like Abramovich. Abramovich would be obviously a good example of how you know, Chelsea with money can do certain things, but other football clubs just. As chairman, there's just money to burn, you know.
They're like a mule with a spinning wheel, as they say.
Yeah, and it's a power thing. It's like their little, it's like their, some chairmen treat their football club like their little plaything, like their second Ferrari or things like that. These guys just live in a completely different stratosphere to everybody else.
Well, I guess Shahid Khan, who owns Fulham and recently bought Wembley and owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That fell through.
The Wembley thing
fell through, but was probably looking at Fulham as, what's our selling point here? We're living in we're basically
the most affluent part of London.
London. People want to come in and be entertained. They don't want to see football that keeps us in the Premier League. They want to see a team that plays a attractive style of football.
He's actually delegated a lot of the running Shahi Khan of the club to Tony Khan, his son, and I think it's Tony who's involved in the startup of a new wrestling company over in the United States as well, which a lot of his attention has been turned to in the last 2-3 months too. So their idea of what a workable business is in terms of the sporting world is a little bit off, I think, and a little bit askew with what happens in reality, and they're paying the price for that in the Premier League.
They don't really depreciate. Well, I mean, as long as they stay in either the Premier Division or the First Division, the clubs don't really depreciate, do they? It's like, I wonder, they look at them as being some form of long-term investment or at least a short-term investment, you know.
Paul McGrath released a covers album, Handled with Care, in 2011. The 11-track album includes some of the 51-year-old former Irish international's favourite songs. The collection of cover tunes includes Elvis Costello's Good Year for the Roses, Christy Moore's The Contender, and the title track, Handled with Care.
There is a Pele album out there as well.
I'm regretting having said this to you. I really am. Pele did an album.
We even have a CD player.
I think it's in association with Sergio Mendes, but like he does some singing and some guitar playing on it, but it's credited to him.
What format did you bring your music in on?
Digital format.
Okay, just going to email it to us, are you?
It's on SoundCloud, yeah.
Ah, JP's raising his eyes to heaven. Gonna have to do some work to get it.
You might have to do some work, yeah. You might have to.
Let's not play it off your laptop. We want to give it the full surround sound experience.
No, it's private, Richie. I wouldn't give you access, Richie.
Good news for the Waterford hurlers.
Yeah, indeed. They are going to be allowed to play their home games in the Munster Hurling Championship at Walsh Park. Last year, the Déisi were forced to play their home games in Limerick and Thurles with no Waterford venue deemed suitable at the time, but the CCC of the Munster Council has confirmed that Waterford's games against Clare on May the 12th and Limerick on June 2nd will be held at Walsh Park with capacity for both games capped at 11,000. As you mentioned, Jonathan Sexton among a number of high-profile players objecting even to World Rugby's reported plans for a 12-team World League. Speaking on behalf of the International Rugby Players Group, Sexton called the proposals out of touch. The New Zealand Herald claimed World Rugby want a 12-team league of the world's best international sides operating by 2020. The league would be comprised of the Six Nations, the Rugby Championship quartet of New Zealand, Australia, South Africa and Argentina, along with Japan and the USA. An unnamed broadcaster has already tabled an offer to finance the venture, but players don't appear to be on board. All Blacks captain Kieran Reid says fans, quote, don't want to see fatigued players playing a reduced quality of rugby as part of a money-driven, weakened competition that doesn't work for the players and clubs. In response, though, World Rugby say it's important to note that some assumptions made in the statement regarding the proposed competition structure are inaccurate, and that important matters such as playing load and emerging nation opportunities are at the heart of constructive dialogue on the overall concept. They add, consumer research confirms a structured annual competition would make fans and new audiences more likely to watch, attend and engage with international rugby, exposing the sport to new fans worldwide.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Ben Coles of The Telegraph on this a little bit later on. So it's not a huge change to the calendar in terms of the Northern Hemisphere teams will still go to the Southern Hemisphere during the summer and vice versa. But rather than you've been able to experiment over these games,
it's the Nations League.
You're basically going to have a full-on, all three games during the summer are going to be full-on competitive, all three games in the autumn are going to be competitive, and then you're trying to get to a semi-final and final at the end of that.
But what is the appetite on the players' behalf for a makey-uppy semi-final final scenario, adding extra international games when you still have the World Cup as the pinnacle of
what is the
international
title?
Football?
So at the end of last year, do Ireland get to say we're the best team in the world right now? We're not. Are we the world champions if we win that?
The lineal world champions like Tyson Fury.
What is the overall prize?
Do you get a trophy? Do you get a big check?
There seems to be a pretty strong appetite, certainly amongst the administrators of World Rugby.
Well, there's a massive TV deal behind them.
Of the money involved, and that tends to hold a lot of sway in these things.
Like the Rugby World Cup, is it as big a deal as you might think? It's not really, is it? It's not at that level. I mean, I know it's all relative, but it's not at the same. Relative to soccer, the World Cup is the pinnacle. I don't know whether the Rugby World Cup is the same as rugby.
In terms of prestige for players, yeah. I think where the shortfall might be is in terms of how World Rugby sells its TV deal for it. Because as you see, especially here and in the UK, it's not necessarily the Six Nations broadcasters or the World Rugby Championship broadcasters that have the rights to the Rugby World Cup. It's usually different people. And again, they can be watered down and sold on. So I don't think that prestige in terms of cash is there, and that's probably something the World Rugby are looking to rectify.
It's so diluted, rugby, isn't it? I mean, it's literally just, what is there, 4, 5, 6 teams max that really dominate the
Well, the problem is the dilution is in terms of the various different competitions that are there, and there's such a gap between what the clubs want and what the international governing bodies want. And then in different countries, it's ran in different ways. So what the IRFU at least can have some sort of joined up thinking. That's not the case in English rugby,
or France.
or in France, where there's such a huge gap between the clubs and the international side. It's a bit of a mess, but obviously maybe they're just flying a few kites at the moment and see how it's received. But it does feel as though some sort of pretty seismic change is coming.
They seem fairly far down the road if they want this installed by 2020. So yeah.
Album title suggestion. The Special, in honour of the drink named after Stewie in Longford back in the day. What does the beverage entail, Stewie?
Oh God, I have to be reminded of this. I remember it cost a tenner.
What?
Back in
Longford?
Back in the late
Back in
90s.
old
It's
money.
some sort of a version of a fat frog.
Back in pounds.
In pounds and pence.
It was a pint of.
Oh, Christ.
Maybe this person can come back. Who said that, Nathan?
They didn't even add their name to it.
Clearly a Longford resident.
There was
£10 in Longford back in
an
the day.
alcohol pop in it. There was Smirnoff.
Oh, God,
Ice.
no.
Ice.
It
It sure wasn't a fat frog. Was it luminous green?
I was before Fat Frog. When did Fat Frogs come out? Fat Frogs only came out in the mid '90s, didn't it?
I don't
Late
know if they had an official release date.
But this was a
throwing
pint.
3 drinks
This
randomly
was a pint
together.
anyway. It was effectively Smirnoff, an alcohol pop, a few other things in there. It was orange flavoured, but it was quite strong alcoholic wise.
Well, our texter can hopefully let us know exactly what was in it. All this week we've teamed up with Coca-Cola, the official soft drink partner of the Premier League. They are celebrating their Be the 12th campaign by rewarding supporters with giveaways this season, including match tickets and branded merchandise. Keep an eye out for special Coca-Cola packs for the promotion. All of this week we're giving you the chance to win tickets to the Premier League match of your choice next season. Terms and conditions apply. All you have to do is identify tonight's mystery voice who's got his fingers crossed that the new series of Derry Girls lives up to all the hype.
Well, naturally you hope so.
We all do hope so.
Well, naturally you hope so.
Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce a winner later on in the show. It's all with thanks to Coca-Cola's Be the 12th campaign.
Chelsea have escaped punishment from UEFA following an investigation into alleged racist incidents involving the club's fans. The investigation centred around anti-Semitic chants from Chelsea supporters in their Europa League game away to Vidi in December. Chelsea's owner Roman Abramovich and chairman Bruce Buck condemned the fans' behaviour at the time, but despite this, UEFA have chosen to close its disciplinary proceedings against the club.
Sergio Ramos, his shithousery has finally been punished.
Yeah, he's been banned for 2 European games for intentionally getting booked in Real Madrid's last 16 first leg away to Ajax. The Real Madrid captain picked up a yellow card for a foul on Kasper Dolberg in the 89th minute of their game in Amsterdam, which would have ruled him out of the second leg but seen him return for a potential quarter-final. Ramos told reporters after the game that he did force the booking but later backtrack on that statement. But UEFA have decreed the 32-year-old did get booked on purpose, so he'll now miss the second leg and a potential quarter-final first leg.
Magnificent.
Delighted for him.
Would you have ever done such a thing, Stewie?
Never, no. I wouldn't mind bursting him, I have to say. He does my head in. He does my head in.
Wow. Make you angry.
He does actually make me angry, Nathan. It's taken me 16 hours.
Do I make you angry?
15 years to get over that, yeah. You're making me more angry as the show goes on, yeah, because we had a chat beforehand and you reeled me in.
You let you in the
I'm not
Primrose
happy with
Path
you at
there,
all.
yeah.
I'm not
You're
happy.
still going to play the tunes though at 9 o'clock. We'll play one at the start of the football show, one at the end of the football
Oh,
show.
God.
So pick
No.
a lively opener and then something sort of soothing to guide us into Tom Dunn at 10 o'clock. All right? Jargon alert. You just quoted World Rugby using the word engagement. I guess the next step is to say they want to take the global TV audience on a journey. Boring, says Keith and
Well,
Dean too.
the term engage is at the very core of rugby in the scrum, so why not, says I. Rhys Ruddock, meanwhile, sticking with rugby, his name is back in the frame for Ireland's remaining Six Nations games with France and Wales. The flanker has returned from a hamstring injury to captain Leinster in tomorrow night's Pro 14 meeting with the Cheetahs at the RDS. The returns of Scott Farley, Dave Carney and Adam Byrne are also among 9 changes from last week's win over the Southern Kings.
All right, good stuff. Richie's here for the evening, keeping us up to date with all the live sports. Stewie, you'll be back for the football show?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It is going to be a very special football show. We're going to have Stewie Byrne live, the musician, coming away from 9. John Giles, I don't know if he'll give us a song, but he's coming your way next.
Off the Ball on News Talk. News Talk Breakfast.
I had a meeting last night with all the Fine Gael backbench TDs, you know, those, some of whom are former ministers, many of whom have never been ministers. I'm very fortunate to be leader of a party